In this video, you'll learn how to produce high-performing SEO content that not only ranks and generates search traffic, but actually builds trust with your audience. These are the principles we've used to help brands like SEMrush, Pipedrive, and Tide elevate their blog content and help them scale their SEO efforts to attract hundreds of thousands of monthly searches. Search-driven content can get a bad rap, but done right, SEO is still one of the most effective long-term growth channels for SaaS and tech brands. And frankly, producing trash content won't cut it anymore. You have to deliver huge amounts of value in order to succeed. And it all starts with getting a lay of the land by conducting a competitive analysis. Now, Google has done much of the hard work for you in terms of figuring out what your audience truly wants. Leverage this by using the SERPs as a compass for what content you should be creating for a given keyword or topic. But be warned, this doesn't mean following competing articles blindly. Creating copycat content won't cut it, and for two reasons. First, you're not demonstrating expertise in a topic. You're simply rehashing what everyone else says, and often they're quite wrong in their opinions. And second, it doesn't bring information gain to the table. Information gain, as Bernard Huang of ClearScope puts it, refers to entities you mention within your content that are relevant to the topic. An entity being a theme that's relevant to the topic that you're writing about. That is to say, information gain is literally helping your readers gain new information they cannot find anywhere else. So, use your competitive analysis to find out what the top competing articles are doing well and not so well. What crucial themes and subtopics are missing from the top ranking articles? Also think about the experience and value they're offering. Are they lacking imagery? Does the content show people what they need to do, but not how to do it? Are they missing examples and anecdotes to drive key principles home? Answer these questions and use it to fuel the next principle. With this analysis completed, you can define how your content will fill those gaps. This is the most important part of your content brief, especially when working with writers, as it communicates what your content must include in order to succeed. Here's an example of an angle my agency Grizzle recently produced for a client on the topic of CRM software. Here, we're leaning into community conversations to fuel our angle, noting that they're looking for insights on why a particular CRM is right for specific goals and jobs to be done, rather than a laundry list of features. Use your angle to communicate what your content should include and the overall vision. Consider it a directive to your writers, showing them what you want to see and what underlying themes should be present throughout. Before we move on to the actual production of your content, we must first cover a critical step, one that every marketer should be doing before writing a single word or even starting on the brief and writing the angle. Interviewing subject matter experts, or SMEs. Now, earlier I mentioned why it's important we avoid blindly copying our competitors, because it lacks expertise and authority. But as marketers and founders, we're not always able to inject our own experiences on a topic into our content, especially if we haven't necessarily experienced them ourselves. So, lean into the experiences of other experts, both internally and from outside your business. If you want to elevate your content further, consider reaching out to additional experts on LinkedIn and asking for their opinions on a topic. Use this to open up and expand on new ideas, while giving you more distribution power for when content goes live. Reach out to influencers. Get unique quotes and encourage them to share your content. This is especially important when writing for a B2B audience. Buyers are more discerning than ever, and so including factually correct information while presenting the experiences of their peers is the best way to cut through the noise and build trust. Because at the end of the day, that's what most B2B folk look to when solving their problems, their peers. So you've got the foundation for your content. You have your angle, how you'll differentiate yourself, and some actual expertise from someone who has experience in your chosen topic. Once a searcher lands on your article, what's the first thing they should see? Is it a lengthy, meandering introduction that talks about fluffy, high-level ideas? Or should you get to the point, reassuring readers that they're in the right place and you're gonna get to the good stuff? The answer is, of course, the latter, and we call the principle behind this time to value. You want to give your readers the information they're looking for right away. This means writing an introduction that gets into the specific pain points you're trying to solve and stating a promise of what they're going to learn by investing their time in this article. As Eric Doty from Doc puts it,
I think another thing is just focusing really on the introduction, because I've done it myself as the writer. Like, your introduction is your afterthought because it's not the meat of the post. But I feel like someone has to land on the thing and have the impression of these people understand me.
For example, this SEMrush article we produce on writing case studies gets right to the point, fulfilling search intent quickly while front-loading the most important information right after the first subheading, a principle we call bottom line up front, or BLUF for short. Reducing time to value also means front-loading and prioritizing the most important sections and subsections. Following on from our SEMrush example, the first section briefly talks about what a case study is and what they help marketers achieve before getting into the crux of the topic, how to actually create one. The order in which you present your information, themes, and sections must align with search intent. If people are looking for how to do something, you better give them actionable steps right away. Similarly, if your audience is searching for content marketing examples, don't lead with a definition of what content marketing is and why it's important. Save that for another article. Instead, jump right into the first example on your list. Now, hooking your readers into your content is one thing, but keeping them hooked is another. While not an official algorithm ranking factor, it's important to optimize your content for dwell time. Now, according to Ahrefs, dwell time is the amount of time that passes between clicking one of the search results and heading back to them. In short, if someone clicks on your article, spends several minutes reading, and ultimately ends their search there, it sends a signal to Google that you fulfilled that search. The more users do this, the more Google considers your content the best on a topic, and thus, the higher you'll rank. The best way to improve your dwell time? By optimizing for value velocity. Now, value velocity is a term we use at Grizzle to measure how quickly new information, insights, and actionable guidance is being delivered within every sentence and paragraph. The more value you deliver, the higher the probability that users will stick around for longer and take the next step in the customer journey. Waffle, redundancy, and repetition are three of the biggest culprits against seamless reading experiences. And by waffle, I mean lengthy sentences, usually made up of hyperbole and nebulous language that says a lot without communicating anything. And while some jargon is important to get on your reader's level, especially when reaching B2B leaders, too much can make for a clunky reading experience. Then there's repetition. Repeating the same ideas, advice, and guidance within your content undermines value velocity. For example, take the following passage from an article on account-based marketing. As you can see, it's super wordy and I won't read it out, but you get the picture. Now, this was an actual paragraph my team edited from a new writer, and here's how they polished it and tightened it up. Here, we're communicating the same information and value, but in half the time. Not only that, but sentences and paragraphs are broken up onto different lines, reducing friction and creating a smooth reading experience for your users. Make your writing short and punchy. Pretty and poetic language can be fun to write, but it's not always fun to read. Sure, sprinkle your personality in, but don't lose sight of the purpose, which is to add value to your readers. Then there's content design. The visual elements and user experience your content offers matters almost as much as the words themselves. Offer a clunky experience and users will get frustrated and bounce. And as we explored earlier, low engagement will send a signal to search algorithms that your content doesn't fulfill user intent. Nailing good content design doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, simplicity is key. It's about stripping everything back to the bare essentials while building a reading experience that delights. Take the Klaviyo blog, for example. In this article on e-commerce customer acquisition, we're welcomed by an engaging header, a pull-out quote that makes a bold statement, and an introduction that establishes expertise. This provides a delightful experience right out the gate, giving readers a double readership path that allows them to skim and make a decision on whether or not they should invest their time in the article. The double readership path is a concept that comes from the direct response world. In principle, it involves varying the formatting of your content to get the attention of skimmers while keeping invested readers hooked from beginning to end. Double readership elements within the Klaviyo article include pull-out quotes, short subsections, calculations and formulas, bullet lists, images and examples, and a table of contents in the left-hand pane to allow readers to navigate to specific sections. Beyond varied formatting, Klaviyo have made the blog just look generally beautiful. The variation in font styles for pull-out quotes and use of white space really make for a delightful reading experience. So take stock of your blog. Does it look great and read well? If not, consider taking inspiration from other blogs and publications and applying the principles we've shared in this video. Speaking of imagery and content design, one of the top things I hear B2B folks say they wish they saw more in the content they read is examples. Third-party examples that demonstrate the principles you teach helps to drive those principles home. They provide quick aha moments, allowing readers to connect the dots between theory and execution. Basically, examples make your content more tangible. For example, and no pun intended, this article we wrote for CXL on business storytelling features Patagonia as the poster child for the principles that we teach in action. Here, we feature 2 screenshots from Patagonia's website and advertising, but not just for the sake of including imagery. We show readers 2 very specific elements of Patagonia's storytelling, and we don't stop there. We share what Patagonia have done well, why it works, and actionable takeaways that readers can apply to their own business. Now, let's break down each of these 3 key elements for featuring any third-party example within your content. First, there's the what. Your example must be relevant to your reader. If your ICP is made up of CFOs at B2B companies, don't feature examples from e-commerce brands. Then there's the why. Why is this particular example a good representation of your principles in action? Break it down and get specific. Finally, there's the takeaway. How can you condense the lessons from your example in a way that gives something actionable away? And it's this last piece that trips marketers up. They don't wrap up their examples with takeaways. Don't make your readers figure it out for themselves. Do it for them. Now, we've talked a lot about content quality, but getting the on-page SEO elements of your content dialed in is key. After all, your metadata, schema markups, and internal linking are all SEO table stakes. However, there are tools that will help inform which themes, terms, and topics your content should cover, ensuring it's more relevant for searchers. One solution is ClearScope, a data-driven tool that we rely on heavily when writing client content at Grizzle. Now, we're not sponsored by ClearScope in any shape or form, but we have found it to be an invaluable tool when producing SEO content. So, how does it work? ClearScope essentially scrapes the top ranking content on the SERPs for your chosen keyword and calculates how important a theme or term is based on how often it appears in top competing articles. ClearScope then comes up with a grade for your content based on this data. Each term varies in importance, indicated as a score based on top ranking Google articles using this keyword. And we found ClearScope to be incredibly effective for helping our content rank. And according to a study by Backlinko, comprehensive content with a high content grade significantly outperformed content that didn't cover a topic in depth. While we stand by ClearScope as the best-in-breed solution to this problem, the price point might be a stretch for startups and small businesses. So consider checking out Phrase, Content Harmony, and Surfer SEO as affordable alternatives if you're just getting started. Finally, content is useless unless it contributes to actual business objectives. And usually, this comes in the form of conversions. This means featuring relevant calls to action throughout your content to encourage users to take the next step in their journey with you. Now, what I don't mean by this is drown your content in product pitches. Yes, product-led content works wonders, especially for product-led brands that follow a freemium model or offer a free trial. However, for content at the top of the funnel, it's not always relevant to feature your product or solution. So, how can your content contribute to conversions at all stages of the funnel? By using contextual calls to action. The best way to illustrate this is with an example. This article from Pipedrive on the Challenger sales methodology ranks well for the term. It also features truckloads of actionable advice and even includes a YouTube video on the topic. However, the topic isn't necessarily relevant to their core CRM offering. So, how do they get this piece of content working harder for them? By offering relevant resources in exchange for an email address. In this case, Pipedrive offer a guide to creating the perfect sales strategy, along with a strategy template to help subscribers get started. This allows Pipedrive to collect email addresses and nurture them into users, demos, and trial signups over time at all stages of the marketing funnel. And this is the true beauty of SEO content. It's a long game, but it has a tremendous amount of compounding benefits. Deliver huge amounts of value and make it easy for readers to take the next step in their relationship with with you. Use search traffic to build custom audiences for your paid media efforts and reduce customer acquisition costs. And most importantly, use it to deliver your unique point of view to the world, establish thought leadership, and build a brand trusted by customers and buyers.